How you doing, good people? This is Dave Bedanum. Okay, so for all of Acclaim's bad reputation throughout the lifespan of their existence, they did a few really good things. They did a lot of stuff right. One of the things that they did was develop really good partnerships. Their partnership with Midway to produce a lot of those home ports, and their partnership with Rare at some point. Rare did a lot of pretty good stuff with Acclaim. One of Rare's earliest collaborations with Acclaim actually is where today's video will take us, because Rare and Acclaim partnered and created one of the better trilogies of games on the NES. I own two of those games, and the two that I have are actually the two better games in the series. Each game in the series introduced a different little quirk to the core gameplay of the series, and it always ended up making for a meaningful adventure. The first game in that series is 1987 Wizards and Warriors. Now, Wizards and Warriors was cool because it was your standard platformer, but the action was really fast-paced to say you played as a knight, not this brooding barbarian guy that's on the cover art. You play as a knight named Kairos. Kairos is rescuing several princesses from a wizard. That wizard is holed up in a castle at the end of the game. The levels aren't very long, but there are different things you have to do to get to the end of the levels and fight the boss. And that was the interesting thing about Wizards and Warriors. It gave you a series of objectives to complete before you got to a boss. And that wasn't something that was very commonplace in NES titles and in cartridge-based home-based console games in general. And it featured probably one of the better soundtracks of the NES library. And that brings us to 1989's follow-up to Wizards and Warriors, Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors 2. And yes, boys and girls, that is Fabio on the box art. Wizards and Warriors 2 was cool because it featured, it added to that objective-based gameplay, because in addition to the different little quests that you had to complete to get to the end of each level, there was also a bigger goal to complete to get to the end of the game. In this game, Kairos is working on finding the pieces to a legendary sword and using that sword to defeat this wizard once and for all. You have to challenge different elementals to defeat them to acquire the pieces of the sword. You also have to find different magic items, different pieces of armor, different things that you must use to be able to make it to this elemental and defeat this elemental. If you try to do it without these items, say for instance, if you don't find a fireproof shield, you won't be able to defeat the fire elemental in that area of the game. Wizards and Warriors, the first two games actually laid down a great foundation for the third game in the series. But since I don't have the third game, I can't really talk about it. The series, though, as a whole, is a tremendous series, and it's probably, with the exception of the titles that Midway licensed to Acclaim as far as home ports, it's probably Wizards and Warriors series, for my money, may be their crowning achievement. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I will catch you beautiful people tomorrow.